Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Welcome back. Hey, what a delight and an honor to have with us today Robert Dickie. He is the president of Crown Financial Ministries, and I'm sure you're very familiar with that ministry. It's all over the place, does an excellent work across the country. And Robert is also an author, a speaker, a consultant, a columnist. He authored a book called Leap, The Leap, and that is launching your full-time career in a part-time economy. What a timely topic when the whole world's being cut back in their hours because of health care. Is that primarily it, Robert?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that definitely plays into it. There's a shift in our global economy. Regulation and the healthcare policies that we have now here in the United States are playing part into that regulation. But it also, what things that are impacting us also include technology and globalization. And all three of those events are kind of coming at us in a perfect storm and really changing our entire workforce and landscape here within North America and globally.
Yeah, you're hearing more and more about it, and a lot of college graduates are coming out somewhat discouraged because the full-time job just isn't there.
They really are, and they're getting hit with the double-edged sword here. They're graduating. Many of them have had to borrow enormous amounts of money to get through a very expensive college education experience, on average $30,000 in debt. And then they enter into an economy where the full-time jobs are not around like they used to be in the 80s and the 90s. They're having to put together 2 and 3 different part-time jobs. We're calling it the freelance economy, or gigonomics, where they're putting multiple gigs together to try to just make ends meet. So they're really struggling.
So what do you mean by the leap? What do you mean by the leap? Oh, did we lose?
Well, the leap, first and foremost, Perry, the leap, I think that people need to take a mental leap, right? To understand that this is no longer our grandparents' economy. Mm-hmm. In the past, we could go from graduating from college, going directly into the workforce, staying there for maybe 30 years and retiring. That's just not available for most people today. So we need to make a mental shift and realize that we're going to have, at least young people in particular, going to have anywhere from 8 to 12 little careers within their lifetime. So they need to be intentional and planning to be able to navigate that. And even people who are later in their career are finding that they're going to have to start multiple careers late in life as well to kind of make ends meet into retirement. So we've got to change our mindset.
Now, part of that comes into planning, and I know you highly recommend that. Give us a little bit of an idea.
Well, I think first and foremost, one of the things that I recommend in the book is for people to truly understand how God created them, how they wired them. Many times people have this vision for themselves, and like, well, I really want to do this, or my mom and dad really want me to be a doctor or a lawyer. They spend an enormous amount of time and money going down that path, only to be unfulfilled. And those are mistakes that we can't make in today's economy. But if you start with a plan, and I recommend taking a career direct assessment, understand how God gifted you, how he wired you, your skills, and so forth, you'll know that you are in alignment with what he wants for you in your life. We have found this tool to be enormously successful to help people pick the right career and then be able to have success in that career.
What has this digital world done to jobs and going to the office? We're hearing about more and more people living where they want to live, working from their house. Is that working?
It really is. You find a lot of people who do this. They're freelancers. Big multinational Fortune 500 companies are hiring people to be able to work out of their homes. You have call centers. Instead of being outsourced to India, you can actually do that from your home today. So there are certain career fields that lend itself to people be able to work out of their home, keep their costs a little bit lower, and have a little more freedom. And so those are some of the benefits. A lot of times people hear about this free agent economy and this freelance work. They think of the negatives. One of the things I try to highlight in my book is that there's all sorts of positives to be able to function in this new economy.
Are we in some way, Robert, are we forcing single taskers to become multitaskers?
Well, I would say that that's a very good question. There's a lot of people who are being forced to multitask in a number of different areas of their life. Me personally, I've just grown accustomed to it. But it's a skill set that I think that people need to hone. But unfortunately, the folks who aren't really good at multitasking kind of find this new environment to be a little bit overwhelming. But with the proper planning, with the being intentional with how you set up your daily life and your daily routine, I think it's quite manageable.
Now, a lot of people approach this, what you're talking about, it is somewhat frightful. There's a fear factor involved. How do I do this? I was trained to do one thing, but I'm going to have to do leapfrog to get to where I want to go. How do you encourage them there?
Well, I really encourage them that, it really depends on your mindset. If you look at the challenge or the obstacle in front of you as negative, and you really start to, water that seed of doubt, that's all you're going to see. But if you back up and you create a plan and you understand that everything that God puts in our lives is there for a reason, and that we can overcome this so we can get stronger, you really start to look at the world with a positive mindset. It's amazing the opportunities that come along. It's amazing how you can pay it forward and help other people have more freedom in your life. Instead of being saddled with debt and all these expectations that society want to place on us, that if you start from the beginning with the proper mindset and the proper plan, this is actually a very exciting journey.
All right. Now, how do you help the Christian who's struggling with this to look at this from more of a significance than a success? When the world is trying to force us to be some successful, according to the world's definition, God wants you to be content. That seems to be a pretty tough one to balance.
Yeah, and one of the things, and this is a theme that I have shared over and over again with places that I've been speaking around the country. I believe that God wants us to be content, but not to be complacent. And there's a really big difference between the two. So, the world, I was just speaking with a university in North Carolina, and they were trying to unwrap this whole why is it that we feel like the need to be so materialistic and to be a consumerism type of society. And that is because of this advertising bombardment that we're on 24/7. And when you can pull yourself back and you realize that our success, our significance, our self-worth has nothing to do with our job, has nothing to do with the car that we drive or the home that we live in, but it has everything to do with our relationship with Christ. And we start with that mindset first, and then we try to figure out how we can help others. It's a completely different paradigm shift. And so, I'm really passionate about helping people in my book understand how they can get there.
You say in your book, faith not tested is faith not to be trusted. Boy, explain that one.
Yeah, I've experienced that in my life, not only as a Christian, but also as someone in the military. So let me highlight a military example. When you're going through boot camp, all the time, you're some of the strongest, most, competent individuals that you'd say, man, this individual can handle anything. But you know what? You never really know until you get on the battlefield and the bullets start flying and the stress is high. It's amazing. Sometimes the people who you thought were going to be the strongest person in the platoon or in the squadron have just a complete mental meltdown. They couldn't handle it. And so, I have a number of friends, Navy SEALs. They say, we don't trust anybody who has not been combat tested. We want to know how you're going to react in that situation. Life is very similar. We can go to church on Sunday morning. We can say all the right things. We'll live in a perfect life with no stress. But when the storms of life come, if you've never been tested, you don't know how you're going to react in that situation. So when a storm comes and you're being tested, don't take that as a sign of, woe is me. Realize that that's an opportunity for your faith to grow, for your strength to grow, for your relationship with Christ to grow. And by that, you're going to be able to help other people in your life.
Powerful. All right. The book is entitled The Leap, Launching Your Full-Time Career in a Part-Time Economy by Robert Dickie. There's a picture of it there on the screen. I would assume it's available at the bookstores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble and such?
Yes, sir, they are. And I've got a number of free downloads on my website at robertdickey.com. So I've got a number of free things there for people who are reading the book to kind of help them get started in their journey. So feel free to use those resources.
All right. Leave us with a little nugget. What, of all the things you mentioned in the book, what's the ones you're passionate about?
I would say my biggest passion is to help people understand their God-given uniqueness and their ability. Start with the end in mind. Don't try to take a leap without having a plan. And I'm not talking about a plan with your finances and debt. Truly understand how God made you and gifted you. And when you live your life in alignment with Him, you are going to be in for an amazing, wonderful journey where you're going to have massive impact in this world.
Do you have in the book a suggestion on how to qualify that? How do you qualify yourself and what you are gifted to do?
Absolutely. I speak very in-depthly about this. I recommend that everybody go and take a Career Direct assessment. You can go to careerdirect.org, O-R-G. This is an assessment that Larry Burkett made a number of years ago. We've used it globally all around the world. Over 100,000 people have gone through it. And we hear testimonies time and time again of people who had been misaligned. They didn't understand how God made them. And when they took this assessment, it just opened up their eyes. They're like, wow, I'm no longer struggling. I was hitting my head against a brick wall. I had obstacles. I don't have that any longer because I'm living in complete alignment with how God made me.
Wow. Well, this is a tremendous resource. The book is entitled The Leap, Launching Your Full-Time Career in a Part-Time Economy. And it's a big red book. You can't miss it. Pick it up at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon or at the bookstores. Or you can get excerpts from it and downloads from it at robertdickey.com, robertdickey.com, and take a look at it. I think you'll find this to be a tremendous resource. Well, Robert, I want to say thank you to you and all the people there at Crown. You guys provide a wonderful service to people, and I know churches all over the place that do your programs, and I just want to say thanks for your steadfastness in what God called you guys to do.
Thank you so much, sir. We've got a wonderful CEO in Chuck Bentley and a great team, and so it's our honor to be able to serve.
All right. God bless you, my friend. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Perry. Have a great afternoon.
Later. All right, there it is. And again, let me just encourage you to check it out. It's called The Leap, Launching Your Full-Time Career in a Part-Time Economy. And you can also get excerpts and downloads there at Robert's website. That's Robert Dickey, and that's IE, robertdickey.com. Check that out, okay? We'll see you next time on Focus Today.